Esteemed Father Eugene, Reverend Fathers, Your Excellency Ambassador Papadopoulos, I don't think Ambassador Sekidis is with us, but let us know we mentioned his name, and we thank him and welcome him to New York. Honorable Consul General Dinos Constantino, Honorable Consul Dimitris Kokotas, honorable members of government and the diplomatic corps, esteemed Chairman of GAEPIS, Stelios Taketsis, beloved Ioanna Yiannopoulos from 3 Hyrax in Brooklyn before she was with Cosmos FM. We'll take some credit there. Friends and family of Cosmos FM, Grand President Boulegeris, District Governor Leni Christo, Supreme Vice President Duat Savas, Supreme Governor Ted Stamus, District Governor Dean Moskos, Master of Ceremony, Brother Michael Stratus of Brooklyn, friends and family members of the different societies, organizations, and everybody else that's here. If I forgot you, please blame it on Stelio or Stratus, not me. I didn't get the list. Let me begin by thanking Stelio, the board of Cosmos FM, and their whole team for what they do, what they've done for 35 years, and for the last 27 years with the Phidippides Award, my friend Dimitri here. You cannot have a strong Greek-American community, or any kind of strong community, without a radio station, where a place for their voices can be heard, where we could exchange dialogue, ideas, complain, cry, think, and be Greek at times when we need to be Greek. So thank you very much to Cosmos, to Stelio, to Ioanna, and to everybody else for all that they do, all that they've done, and continued success, because the Greek community cannot move forward without you guys behind it and involved in its day-to-day life. Thank you also for the great recognition of our beloved AHEPA, the AHEPA family. I am honored to accept this award on behalf of that family, the daughters of Penelope, the sons of Heracles, the maids of Athena, and all those great men and women who have done so much over 100 years and have given so much to the Greek-American community. As Stelios said, and George mentioned the history, 100 years is a long time. There are faces and people that we've never seen, and we were talking about this with some of the brothers outside. Faces and people we've never seen and will never see. We'll probably see them in the next life, and they'll hopefully pat us on the back for remembering them, for mentioning a couple of nice words, because we're all just passing through and happy to be carrying the baton. To say that we're Greek Americans, to say it with pride, to remember our ancestors, our parents, our grandparents, all those wonderful people that came before us, and for all their great sacrifices and the difficulties that they were presented with, and they faced head on with love, with their only goal being to get their children and grandchildren to the other side, to give them a better opportunity, to give them something that they didn't have, to give them the opportunity to pick their profession, to give them the opportunity to raise a family in a democratic, free country. I say that we come from the two greatest histories, civilizations, and peoples of the world. We come from the greatest country in the history of the world, I like to believe. And we were raised in the greatest democracy and the greatest country of modern society. So we are the mutts. And the mutts, as we know, are the ones that live longer than those pure breeds, because it's the combination that's in them. It gets out all the deficiencies and plays to the strengths and makes them stronger. As was said, helping Greeks to fight discrimination, helping Greeks to become good Americans, to assimilate, to love this country, and that's what they did. One of the first great accomplishments of the Order of AHEPA, only 20 years or so into its existence, was $250 million of war bonds sold to help finance World War II. If you go to one of those websites and put in what $250 million was in 1942, what it would be today, just so you guys, because they always get the numbers wrong, it's approximately $5 billion. Okay, so it's $5 billion in that one act, okay, which showed how greatly these Greeks appreciated the country of America. No other organization in America at that time sold that many war bonds to help support this country in the war. And we should all be proud of what great Americans our ancestors were and the love that and respect they showed for this country so early on. I say with pride and love, we are not a ministry of the church, but one of our first missions was to build churches, because we knew without our churches we could not have communities. And the AHEPAs were responsible for probably 2/3 of the churches in America, either the properties being purchased, the churches being built, and or participating in some sort of the construction process. As it was in the little Horia of Greece, you could not have a town without a church. No matter how small the town was, there always was a church. And they knew that that would be the center of their community, and that was part of their success because they did put God first and faith first. And all of the works that they've done through all these years, I always like to say, all these acts of good that AHEPA has done, that you do in your personal lives, they're acts of good, but they're honoring God, because all good is an honor of God. And this is what this organization has been doing for 100 years. Very simply, honoring God and honoring our ancestors with our good works. And we should all be proud of that. After World War II, it goes forgotten. Greece was in bad shape. The brothers in the United States and Canada built approximately 49 health clinics throughout Greece. The AHEPA hospital was built. The wing on the Phidippides was built. St. Basil's Academy, the dorms, paying off the mortgage at St. Photius, which we just honored the 40-year celebration of St. Photius. Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island, the 75th anniversary of the Olympics, our 75th anniversary in the Olympic statue in Atlanta. St. Nicholas National Shrine. There is so much that this organization has done to support the Greek American community. And we've evolved, as Stella had said, and one of the things we're most proud of is our advocacy that we've done for these last 30 or so years, 30 to 40 years, through the Hellenic Caucus, through Michael Bilirakis and Carolyn Maloney, now Gus Bilirakis, Michael's son. When you have 500 chapters and you've initiated over 1 million members through these years, you have an advantage, as Ambassador and Brother George Sunya said, of people-to-people relationships that is unmatched. I say that with pride and I say that loud. Unmatched in the Greek American community, because we are everywhere. We have people who care about Greece everywhere and who can approach their local elected officials and ask them to join the Hellenic Caucus and advocate on behalf of Greece, Cyprus, and the Patriarchate. This little organization we call AHEPA. And I might add that there's nobody that approaches us in advocacy, but we also do it for free. For free, for love of country, for love of faith, for the belief of religious freedom when it comes to the Patriarchate in Constantinople. We are at the front lines. We're not lobbyists. We don't get paid. We never wanted to get paid. We probably could demand a pretty large penny if we wanted to get paid for the work that we do, but we would never do that. Because again, it's love of country. As we begin our second century, as Cosmos FM moves to year 36 and forward, let us think of how we will adapt again on our path. Because with this great award this evening of Phidippides and the meaning of that, the marathon, and the announcing of victory, we have won many battles, and we should be proud of that. We should be thankful for that, for the strength that God has given us to win them. But ours is a war. And it's a long marathon and a long war. And the war is, and the battle in front of us now is, how do we get our children and our grandchildren to feel what we feel and what our parents felt? That is our challenge. When we accomplish that, then we could leave this world and say that we won that battle as well, because we've prepared them to continue the fight and continue the marathon. The world is changing. You see what's happened in Ukraine. You see what's going on with Russia. You see what's happening with Turkey on a regular basis. The Patriarchate and His Whole Holiness constantly facing adversity. It's not a nice place. And we need to realize that just because we have it so good, and the truth is we do have it good, so much better than our parents and our family members did before us. Just because we have it good, don't confuse things with being good. There are a lot of bad characters in the world. There's a lot of energy being put into getting us to forget where we come from, forget what we believe in, because if you forget where you come from and if you forget what you believe in, guess what? The world could do with you whatever it pleases. You have nothing to hold on to in your difficult times. You've given up your roots, you've given up your base, you've given up your values. One of the beautiful things that America offers us is the choice to be proud Americans and to be proud Greeks, and to be proud Cypriots, and to be proud Italians, Hispanics, Jews, Muslims, whatever you are. Everybody should be proud of where they come from. If they've lived an honorable life and they come from an honorable family, why should we not be proud of where we come from? And our children must continue to see us volunteering, helping, doing the best that we can in our communities, in our churches, in our schools, wherever we can. Because that is the best example to show them. I hope that I'll be able to do that, because I've got a 3.5-year-old little girl here who's driving us crazy. And I say one of the difficult things about being an older dad is she's too young to see me be president of AHEPA, so I don't know what I'm going to do to top this in the next 10 or 15 years, but I've got a long road ahead of myself, too. Please think about what you can do. Please encourage your family and friends to get involved. Everybody's got something to offer. Time, talent, treasure. If you think about it, 100 years ago, they probably didn't have too much time because they were so busy working, just trying to get ahead. God knows they didn't come here with many great talents, and they certainly didn't have treasure. What they did have is they had honor, dignity, respect, philotimo, agape, pistis, and those things were the key. As we go forward, think about what the challenge is in your home, whether it's your own children, whether it's your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews, your godchildren, but don't give up the fight. You must win them over. We must win them over. And when we've won them over, then we could declare victory. Up until then, the marathon still needs to be run. So thank you very much to everyone here for all that you have done, because there's so many organizations, so many societies. Thank you for carrying that torch with pride, with dignity, and with love, and setting an example within your home, within your organizations, within your churches, within your communities. Please continue to do that, because we must win this next fight together. AHEPA doesn't have a problem leading, but we know that we will not be able to win that battle by ourselves. We will need the Archdiocese, we will need Cosmos FM, we will need the Archons in leadership, and the Hellenic Medical Society, and the lawyers, and all the other societies as we march down Fifth Avenue in a couple of months. We must be united to preserve Hellenism and Orthodoxy in America and throughout the world. But together, I know we can do it. God bless you all. Thank you all for coming out this evening. Thank you again to Cosmos FM. Health, happiness, and all of God's good to all of you. Thank you.